Hi everyone, my name is Tish Dezoiser and I'm the founder of Their Perfect Gift. Let me just sort of say from the off that I am presenting, not pitching, and I'm going to do my best in 4 minutes to give you a connectivity between gift cards and digital neo-banking, for want of a better word. Hopefully you guys are familiar with it. So we are Their Perfect Gift. And I want to talk to you about the gift card market within the UK, which is roughly around £7 billion as it was in 2019. Big consumer environment, but also a massively growing one. And 7 billion, roughly the average gift card is about £25. So it works out with a 65 million population, about every person is receiving 4 a year, give or take. So the problem with retailer gift cards in the UK, it is an unregulated market. And if a retailer goes bust, your gift card is worthless. Also, gift cards lack personalization. They restrict you to one store, but they are an amazing acquisition tool. And I'll revert back to that in a second. The opportunity. So we have partnered with MasterCard to create an open loop gift card which we retail only over our website. You'll find that we're the only people within the UK that do it. Maybe there's one other in Europe across the piece. Now, I know in the US, there is a Visa, MasterCard or Amex pretty much in every store, but trust me, we're the only ones online that's doing it here. Our gift card is personalized through augmented reality, the greeting card, and the funds are ring fenced by MasterCard. So the recipient can redeem it in 32 million global locations. You activate the gift card via our app. You can access video content, which the purchaser has displayed for you. You can check your balance and you can check your transactions. We have built in retention features to add value to the cardholders. So we have a marketplace selling over 400 lines of branded products from Armani, Michael Kors, Ray-Bans, etc., to worldwide discounted hotels, giving you up to 12% discount over headline price. Now, the move into neo-banking. When you really examine every single neo-bank in the market today, what they have fundamentally done is burn through investor money trying to acquire users. A user is not a customer. Now, the technology stack that we have under our bonnet is exactly the same as pretty much all these people that I've listed here. Some of them have licenses to be proper banks. Most do not. They run on prepaid rails. And today, you don't actually have to be a bank to provide banking solutions. The problem is, in the financial world today, everyone lacks an economic moat. What we've done is we've used gift cards as our acquisition vehicle because that's where most of the money is burnt. Later this year, we'll be launching something we call Ease, Earn As You Spend, where we're providing 3% uplift to our consumer market, plus our economic moat, which is 1% going to good causes. We have partnered with the major grocers in the UK that gives us roughly 75% coverage over the grocery market within the UK. They're all in. So what better way than to keep people retained than to give them free money to get them in and give them more free money to stay, all the while raising money for good causes, because I want a knighthood. So on the pack here, I have showed how much return we are going to be giving to our user base when they provide us the standing order for the monthly direct debit to go towards their grocery spend. We make money right throughout the value chain in over 6 different ways. We don't actually lose money. Everything in our system is all inbound. The vast majority of our customers, people that pay, are corporate. And some of the brands are listed here. Some of the ones that we haven't listed are people like Netflix, TripAdvisor, etc. And they come to us all for staff retention, customer loyalty, etc. And what they do is they put our product in the hands of consumers, and our job is to try and convert those consumers to being customers, not just users. Remember, a user is a potential freeloader. An active user is a definite freeloader, and a customer is someone who pays or you make money from.
Sorry, Fish,
I'm on a minute.
You've got a few 10 seconds left now.
Total addressable market, 30 billion globally. Big focus on corporate. I'll go through this. We made profits in the last 2 years. We have spent no money on marketing because we haven't had any. To date, we have raised £314,000 in investment, and we probably have enough money to continue to launch our savings product and go to market going forward. The ambition is to create the world's first digital social impact bank, where we will give profits away to social causes. The business will also make money, and that is how we will do it.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Fish. If you wouldn't mind just stopping the screen share, and judges, if you want to bring yourselves back on video and audio, and we can begin the feedback.
I can go first. Fish, that was a great presentation. Not only did you go first, but I think it's very tough to fit in a presentation in 4 minutes. Obviously, you ran it up a little bit at a time. However, I don't think that there's a specific section that you spent too much time on that I would maybe allocate elsewhere. I think you have a very interesting business model, and I applaud you for your presentation. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd second what Pola said. Great presentation, Fish. Really interesting takeaways from that quick 4-minute pitch. I would just maybe talk about your profitability a little bit sooner, so you're not rushing towards the end of it. That might just help.
Yeah, piggybacking off of what is it Abhi or Abhi?
Abhi's fine, yeah.
Abhi, got it. Yeah, piggybacking off of what Abhi said, I would definitely bring a lot of the traction-oriented aspects more earlier to build excitement about like what it is that you've been able to accomplish to date, and then kind of dive deep just to hold that interest. Because to many, banking of this type is exciting to some, but not too many. So if you can get folks' interest by saying a couple points about your traction, I think that'll help build some excitement. But I think overall it was a great presentation. You were very clear and concise. You painted a pretty clear picture in terms of what it is that you're doing and the space that you're operating in.
Yeah, and lastly, I think the neobank narrative is really compelling, and a lot of people are very interested in that space right now. So I think alluding to the fact that it is a neobank a little bit earlier on, or at least that's kind of the goal. The other thing would be telling the story. It looks like you guys, just from the deck, and I had a quick glance, but started in 2017. So just kind of understanding like what's been the narrative from inception, and kind of what how long it's taken you to get here, where you are, and why there's been that time horizon.
I might need 8 minutes for that, Noah.
Can I tell you, Fish? One of the interesting things that I've seen is a quick slide on the roadmap. Just use that.
Yeah, no, that
helps.
Interesting point. Surviving the collapse of 2 issuers plus COVID has been an adventure.
Got time for 1 or 2 more quick questions. If you have any more, judges.
Yeah, I got one. Is there a sector or region that you're more focused on, considering? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the UK.
The UK.
You can't.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't take on other markets unless you can take your own, right?
Yeah, sure.
I'm a restructuring guy.
Okay.
So
yeah, I'd love to chat more.
Things going wrong is what wasted.
Fair enough. All right, great. Yeah, I'd love to chat more maybe after.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How many of you actually have bought a gift card? For particular stores, right?
Starbucks.
Or specific stores. I guarantee you the recipient wanted cash, or as close to cash as you could give it. And if you look at Starbucks, how much money is trapped in those gift cards is astronomical.
Yep.
Right.
One quick piece of feedback. Sorry, just one really quick. I would kick it off by just giving some context to your background, right? Like, set your credibility at the onset and really just have people confident and we're speaking about your background. So I would just have a quick one-liner, just talking about your background. So you spent X amount of years in this space, or whatever your proximity to the problem that you're addressing is, just to so folks know that you really understand it. Of course, they'll see that once they go through the rest of the pitch, but putting that early on also helps.
No, appreciate it, Jordan.
Awesome. Thank you very much for the pitch, or the presentation. Sorry, Fish. And thank you, judges, for the great feedback. Thank you, Fish. So next up, we have Geoffrey from BioEclosion.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Geoffrey, CEO and co-founder of BioEclosion. BioEclosion will become an international leader in developing the future rapid diagnostic test to solve real global social challenges. BioEclosion was founded in 2016 by scientists from our institution in Barcelona, with a strong background in developing rapid diagnostic tests. Since our foundation, we have been participating in outstanding accelerator programs, and we have raised around 400,000 euros in non-dilutive funds. With the resources, we aim to obtain our first prototype of our medical device. Unfortunately, we cannot name complex technologies such as microfluidics, photonics, lasers. We call our tech smart because it uses reliable and well-established technologies. In fact, our medical device works really similar than the conventional glucometer for the diabetic population. Additionally, we can provide quantitative results with a drop of blood in 10 minutes, and the results can be sent through a smartphone. Moreover, our device is portable because it uses batteries and it's handheld. Our device is protected by a patent, and more importantly, our device is versatile. This means that with our novel patented medical device, we can target several applications that can range from human health to animal health. Nevertheless, we are a startup, so we have limited resources. For that, currently, we are focusing on targeting to reduce the burden of misdiagnosis of celiac disease. And why this disease? Firstly, because all the market indicators confirm that it is a big opportunity to create a novel point of need for celiac disease. And secondly, the own prevalence of the disease. I'm certain that you all know that celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder due to the intake of gluten protein, which is present in cereals. You may not know that this disease affects the daily life of at least 1% of the worldwide population, and 90% of them are not diagnosed yet. But even more, the disease can show up 300 symptoms, and the current diagnosis may take up to 10 years. Finally, the direct medical cost associated to the misdiagnosis of celiac disease can reach the $3 billion per year, only in the US. For that, we created CeliFast. CeliFast is a user-friendly disposable cartridge that can provide quantitative and an early detection of celiac disease by using a novel patented biomarker with a drop of blood in 10 minutes and wherever is needed. The main goal of CeliFast is allow the user to take immediate actions, which is really relevant in the pediatric population. CeliFast merges the competitive advantage of the current serological test. Basically, we can provide clinical lab results with a drop of blood in 10 minutes wherever is needed. Obviously, our main revenue streams will come by the continuous purchasing orders of this disposable cartridge. This business model is replicated to the new applications that we already have in our pipeline. But now, we still face a long journey to obtain our first sales in 2024. For that, we will require several investment rounds. Currently, we are seeking for 600,000 euros in order to obtain our final functional prototype, to define the clinical file of CeliFast, and finalize its scientific validation.
Got about 30 seconds left, Geoffrey.
Perfect. So I'm on time. So if you want to lead the revolution of the rapid diagnostic test, contact us and join us in our journey. And thanks a lot for the opportunity. And that's all.
Great. Thanks a lot, Geoffrey. Judges, if you'd like to bring yourselves back onto the screen. and we can go ahead with some feedback or questions.
I may have missed this in the presentation, but how are these devices distributed?
How is distributed? So basically, what we aim is to go to a specialized distributor. So we don't aim to create our network. So use a special distributor, and basically what we are going to put that is in hospitals, private practitioners, even pharmacies. And what we are giving is for free is the device, and what we are selling is the single-use cartridge. That it's only single. It's disposable. So because it's a medical device, it's blood inside. So it's this typical medical device business model. For free the device and the cartridge.
And this is currently regulated where, or it's currently regulated or not regulated?
As we are based in Europe, so our first objective is to regulate. That's an IVD, in vitro diagnostics. It's a class B. So what we want to do is claim the CE mark, and after claiming the CE mark, proving that it's a need in the market in Europe, go to Canada, which is easier, and then go to the lovely and really expensive and nice FDA, which is difficult, and it will require probably joint ventures and this only for celiac disease. Then for each application, we have to classify depending on the disease.
What does the market look like for celiac disease detection right now in Europe?
Yeah, that's I mean, this we've never found a study what it described the market for celiac disease. So basically, what we have done is
maybe just rephrase that. The diagnostics market for it, considering you have two other competitors that you showed on that slide. What does the diagnostics market look like? Because in the biomarkers ecosystem at large, we've seen that explosion since the last 2 years in that market, right? So let's talk about your very specific go-to-market strategy there. I'm just curious if you have anything there.
Yeah, we for the autoimmune disease is 4 billion the market.
Okay. Yeah.
And for the transglutaminase market, it's around 10% of this billions. So it should be around 400 millions more or less.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. What's your go-to-market strategy? How do you plan on penetrating into these medical facilities?
Yeah, that's a one question, and that's a thing that we have just entered the MAT challenge that is in Switzerland, which is an exciting program, and we are working on that because the main issue that we have in the medical centers is that we are using a novel biomarker, which is not in the medical guidelines. We know that we know that scientific papers, we know that the practitioners are asking this biomarker, but it's not in the medical guidelines. So what we are doing is collaborating with institutions and with practitioners to create the awareness of using this biomarker and trying to demonstrate that with a rapid test, you don't need to follow the serological test. It's cheaper, it's rapid, it's efficient. So that's trying to demonstrate that. But it's really difficult for that. We're trying to partner also with a specialized distributor that they already have the channel and they already have this awareness.
Kind of tied to that question, as you're entering new markets, what barriers in doing so, given that each country has its own regulations around that?
Yeah, in fact, in Europe, our objective is to obtain this CE mark, which means that you can sell in the 27 countries of Europe. But obviously, as you mentioned, the main issue is that although you have this CE mark, you have to penetrate each market, and each market has its own clinical system. So you have to know how they manage have to contact. For that, our idea is to always look for a specialized distributor that already have one of similar products. That is our main. It's our main. So it's how we want to target, because it's really difficult for a startup to target all the markets, because Spain is one way, France another way, Portugal another way. It's really difficult in this case. It's challenging.
Okay, I think that about wraps up the feedback. So thank you very much for that pitch, Geoffrey.
Thank you.
Thanks
for the feedback.
Judges.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So next up, we have Rob from Anti-Ordinary. Sorry, Jordan, do you mind just turning your video off? Hey, Rob.
G'day, everyone. How are you?
Good, good. How's it going?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. I'm pumped.
Awesome.
Might as well rip right in then, I guess, eh?
Yeah, do you want to go ahead and share your screen?
Share screen, of course.
So you got 4 minutes. Do you want a kind of warning? Do you want a 1 minute warning?
Nah, I think I'll be all right.
Cool.
See how we go.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Cool. Well, g'day, guys. My name's Rob. I'm from Anti-Ordinary. You'll have to excuse my silly little accent. I'm sorry. Let me know if I'm talking too fast. I am Australian, unfortunately. So I'm from Anti-Ordinary, and we are revolutionising brain protection. Here's just a quick summary slide for this pitch and the investment as well. So we're seeking $900,000. And as you can see here in our structure, we're still 90% owned by founders. So what we do is we make beanies that are safer than helmets. The reason why we decided that we need to build this was my own experience and sort of observed out in the mountain as well. And we realized that people didn't like wearing helmets, so much so that they take off this life-saving device when they go skiing or snowboarding. And that's, pros, punters, first timers, and everyone in between. So we thought we had to change this because, everyone wears seatbelts. So why wouldn't everyone wear helmets? They're literally life-saving devices. So we looked around when we decided to fix it. And we realized that everybody who wasn't wearing a helmet wore a beanie. And even most people who wore helmets wore beanies anyway. So we thought, well, why don't we just make a beanie that's as safe as a helmet? And that's what we've done. They fit everybody perfectly. So they feel great and the comfort is out of this world. They also look great, in our opinion, and they're actually safer than traditional helmets. As you can see here, we exceed all international snow sports helmet standards by more than a third in some cases. And to date, us or our testers haven't found a helmet that actually performs better than ours in drop test results. So the result is a new category of brain protection. It's not a helmet, it's an anti. And there's these 5 points here that, other than making the best brain protection in the world, is what makes our company really, really strong. Because our helmet fits everybody perfectly, we can do a direct-to-consumer strategy. So we're splitting that 80-20 from direct-to-consumer to brick-and-mortar retail. We've got a groundbreaking sponsorship, sales, and expansion strategy that has been vetted by pros and professionals all around the world. We've got a world-first helmet recycling scheme that allows us to both get new customers and retain old ones while doing the right thing. These outers come off. So we've got secondary revenue from different colors, patterns, and collaborating with companies that outside our market as well as inside. And we've got an adaptable design that can move easily into other markets. So we've got 2 patents. The first one's filed in all key markets. It's patent pending in there, and we've got a second patent in provisional stage all around the world. So we know that seasonality is one of the big killers of snow sports and action sports companies. That's why from day dot, we designed the whole thing so it can move across industries really easily. This thing would pass the bike helmet standard and be one of the safest helmets there tomorrow. Same with skates, same with wakeboarding. On top of that, we can move into the much underutilized medical market for kids with epilepsy, autism, brain or skull defects, because they're currently underserved in the brain protection market. And that market is absolutely massive. So the ski market itself is pretty large. There's 130 million skiers and boarders worldwide that equates to around 400 million USD of annual helmet revenue each year. But it's exploding. China is expected to have 300 million ski and snowboard participants after the next Olympics. That is a predicted annual helmet revenue of $1.1 billion. And the thing about head shapes all around the world is that they're different. Most helmets are built for the sort of Caucasian head shape and doesn't fit everybody. So ours will be primed to do really well in that market. We did a Kickstarter a couple of years ago, raised $160,000 across all 45 countries. We build these things for $35 and sell them for $190. So it's an 80% gross profit. And we're reaching up to a 18.5% net profit in our 5th year on market. In our 5th year, we'll reach 17.6 million of revenue, which is only 5.6% of the current market. This is us. And we're not great snowboarders, but we love it and we love protecting brains. So if you want to come on the ride with us as an investor, advisor, mentor, or just a friend we can shred with, we'd love to chat to you. Thanks. And here's some pretty photos as well. Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
That was bang on 4 minutes, Rob.
Yeah, that was
I'll
great.
take that.
I have a couple of questions. Can you talk about
Please.
the beanie?
Of course. So it's an inner frame and an outer. So there's two different parts. So the outer is this nice beanie part. Then we have an inner, which is a little bit like a regular helmet, but what it is in a number of different units. So what it can do is it can split apart and move, so it fits to everybody's head perfectly. And not only that, it makes it safer, because in a lot of helmets there's sort of adjustable buckles that make it feel like it fits, but doesn't actually make it fit. In this way, the center of gravity is closer to the head, and so you can see here, I think I showed before, but you get this kind of movement. So it doesn't matter what shape your head is, it fits perfectly. And so it's just all traditional materials being put together in really, really smart ways. And we do use some non-Newtonian materials that start off soft and then turn hard when you impact it. So we've got a dual stage liner, so it can protect against small impacts and big impacts too.
Got it. And then another question I had regarding your market strategy. Is like China your go-to-market like entry point, or is that just an example of the market within that space? If it's not, then can you talk a little bit about dive a little bit more deeper into your go-to-market strategy? You had mentioned it earlier, but I want to learn a little bit more.
Of course. So our go-to-market strategy is predominantly in the Western world. The Chinese market's a huge one for us, but at our scale at this point, it's going to be a little bit hard to capture all of it. With our expertise as well in the Chinese market, because it is so different. The beauty of our outers is what we plan on doing out there is teaming up with a larger company and co-branding with them. So say like a Nike or an Adidas in the Chinese snow market, we can just put their logo on our units and they can use theirs as a competitor in that snow market, which they're not actually at the moment. In the Western world, we have this one. So it sort of comes with a bit of a story. I hope it doesn't take too long. I was in New Zealand filming some promo stuff a little while ago. And we said to our filmer, hey, we'll give anyone $100 for the day if they want to come ride in the helmet. And I had people finding me on LinkedIn and calling me going, hey, I'll do anything for $100. I'll come ride. And we realized the most trusted and best people on the mountain are not getting paid. They're all flat broke. And unless you're an absolute professional, even the step below, they're not getting paid any money. They're getting a lot of gear deals, but free helmets doesn't pay the rent. So we're going to allow these guys to get on the mountain, and because they're the most trusted, they're the instructors, they're the cool kids on the lift, they can just have conversations about a helmet all day. And so when somebody asks about it, go, oh, hey, if you like it, here's a promo code. If you buy one, we'll get some cash, and then we'll get you a little bit off as well. And so what that does is for less than what a retail margin would have cost us, we've sold a helmet, we've supported the right people in the industry, so both getting the core and the non-core happy, as well as sort of facilitating that sale by the right people.
Hey, Rob, does a beanie weigh any less than, or is it lighter than the regular helmets? What's the difference?
It's on the median right now. It's sort of about 500 grams. But in future years, we're looking to sort of put it on a Weight Watchers program.
And what's your target market? Is it the younger audience, or what is the crowd like for you guys?
It's really interesting. We get a lot of ski dads who are really keen on it because the tech is cool. And then we get a lot of ski dads really keen because it's super safe and they want their kids in it. We get a lot of park kids who like it because it's not a helmet, because they're just so anti-authoritarian. They like that as well. And there's a bunch of different ones in between. We get a lot of people who like the interchangeability. We talk to a lot of ski resorts. They're keen on it because it can be a uniform item one day, but then not a uniform item the next day. So it allows them to brand it on their staff members, but when their staff members are being a bit cheeky on the days off and sort of jumping lift lines and that kind of thing, they don't have to be representing Vail at the same time. So there's a number of different factors there. Initially, it'll be sort of a lot of the cool kids, a lot of the pros who tend to gravitate towards us because they have the most cut through in the core. But then, of course, going towards that older, more mature, more affluent market as well.
Okay, one quick comment about the presentation. Absolutely loved it. I think you killed the presentation. Couldn't have done it better. And I want you to pitch a lot of things that I do anyway. So the second comment I was going to ask, a question really, is your sourcing being done out of a particular region, or is that you guys internally here?
We manufacture in China. So we've got some materials that come from Portugal, but most of it's in China, in one of the more reputable helmet manufacturers. So they manufacture a lot of the big brands helmets too. So they've got all the QC, supply chains, all that kind of thing already figured out.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your exit strategy? Sorry, go ahead, Pola.
Sure. I was just going to ask, you briefly mentioned this in your presentation, but in terms of sales, how much, like, do you do D2C? Do you sell directly to retailers? If you do both, what's that split?
So we're looking for 80-20 at this point. Because it does fit everyone perfectly, you don't have to go to the helmet wall and try every single one on. So it's one of those ones where you can just buy it. It shows up, you know it's going to work. Retailers are going to go towards as well for the sort of secondary market of selling these outers. So if you want to pop into a shop and change a color one day, you can do that, but you can also do that online too. So we understand there's some people who are going to be happy to make the leap and buy one online, particularly early days are early adopters. But there's going to be some people who definitely just need to go see it in person and to see it and believe it. So kind of doing that 80-20, doing both, but predominantly D2C because the margin is just so much better.
Got it. Yeah. One question is, what's your exit strategy? Do you plan on becoming this giant entity that produces other types of equipment? You know, I see your adaptability slide and how you want to go into like construction and contact sports and stuff like that. What does your exit strategy look like?
There's a number of ways we can do it. China is currently buying up ski companies like there's no tomorrow, particularly because of the expanding Chinese market, effectively. They've just bought Salomon, Arc'teryx, and Wilson skis for, you know, the group went for sort of $7.4 billion. And Nike and Adidas are in that market, but not competing in snow. So they're a big thing for us. As well as that, there's a number of other sort of PE firms that do buy these kind of action sports. You know, BRG Sports is one, and there's a number of other ones that are interested in these companies. When we do expand into the medical market, that does actually open us up a long way as well. You know, sort of your more J&J, that kind of thing, because if we're supplying units for, you know, kids with epilepsy in schools and we're co-branding with, you know, we could do Barbie, which is great, make them feel good at school about wearing a helmet or a beanie. That sort of opens up that medical side too. So there's options of both selling it as a whole in the next, you know, few years as an action sports helmet brand, or as we expand out to medical, we could sort of get rid of sort of parts of the company as we go and go from there.
What's the biggest obstacle in the business right now?
Money. We've tooled these up. We've got molds all ready to go. Everything's we're certified, safe to sell on the market. We just need some cash to build some.
Well, I guess.
Sorry, go what?
I guess just to follow up on that last question or that last comment, what's been the biggest kind of objection that you've got, I guess, from investors that you've pitched on this?
It's been a little bit hard. What we've found, one, I'm from Australia, so I recently made the leap to go over to America, and that's been an incredible 90 days, and I'm just holding out in London for now so I can get back into America as quickly as possible. So the 9 days was just sort of meeting everyone. Got a lot of feedback from people saying, hey, you know, let us know once you have a lead, let's chat then. A lot of angels in particular. It's just been sort of finding that lead. And the one thing is we don't fit into kind of any real VC portfolios as such, and we're kind of raising an interesting amount of money in between sort of seed and sort of pre-seed and seed in America. So we found we haven't really sort of been the right fit for funds. And then angels, of course, have been a little bit more difficult to sort of get them to sign off. But we're on the way. But I think that's probably the biggest thing so far. And a lot of people are keen to jump in a couple of years once we're making 10 mil of revenue, but hopefully we won't need them then.
Got it.
Yeah, just some quick tips in terms of like trying to find funds that fit your. I would lean into like using something like Crunchbase or PitchBook, and you know, finding funds that have invested in companies similar to yours at the same stage, and see who you have any warm connections to. If not, then you know, figure out how to get intros, or you know, take the cold approach. Ultimately, just create some type of hit list, because I know fundraising for like very like not traditional tech is kind of hard. So you definitely want to take a data approach to that. Just just a little tip.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, guys, we're going to have to call it there for the feedback.
Thank you all. Much
thanks
appreciated.
for that brilliant pitch, Rob.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks a lot. So next up, we have Onyi from Colanut Labs. Just going to bring him on stage now. Sorry, Noah, do you mind just turning off your video as well? Hey, Onyi.
Going.
How are you?
There we go.
Doing all right.
Awesome.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Do you want to just try screen sharing? Cool.
All good?
So you've got 4 minutes for the pitch. Would you like a warning when you've got 1 minute left, or are you?
Yeah, you can give me a 1 minute warning.
Awesome. Okay, we'll take it away.
All right. How's it going, everyone? My name is Onyi Ude. I'm the founder of Coalnut Labs, and we're building an amazing product called Pipeline. So a little bit of background on me. For the past decade, I've been working at the intersection of entertainment and technology. I've worked for companies like Apple, BuzzFeed, and most recently Walt Disney Studios. During that same time, I've also had an animation studio, right, for about 10 years, and something I'm very passionate about. So during that time, I realized it was increasingly difficult to find talent when it came to building productions. And at my time at Walt Disney, that's when I realized it was bigger than just an independent issue. It was a bigger issue for bigger companies, especially with this need for more content. So I decided to come up with Pipeline. Pipeline is a global platform that connects content creators to creative talent in animation. So again, the problem is discovery, right? We've all had this or heard something like this, right? You have an amazing idea for animation, you need an animator, you need, some other resources, you exhaust your personal network, and then what's next? A lot of times that's kind of where projects kind of go to die. And what I found out during my research was a lot of the discovery processes are outdated, or you go to a general site like a Fiverr or Upwork, and because it's not specific enough or niche enough to animation, your returns are pretty inadequate. The process of finding talent and running that transaction is pretty convoluted. And then outside of your independent network, it's pretty undependable, right? You need something that's pretty dedicated to this one purpose of finding talent. So when we built Pipeline, we decided to really focus on building a conduit to the creative talent, right? A place where all the creative animators, storyboarders, everyone resided in, and then indexing them particularly by their skill sets and styles, which is very nuanced to animation. And then creating a very seamless process to run the transactions and documents, as well as just establishing a really reliable trust-based platform so people can review and decide if they want to come back and continue to do business. So the market opportunity for animation globally is 270 billion as of 2020. And 4% of that is dedicated to just talent procurement, finding talent for the purposes of hiring them for productions, right? A lot of them are contractual based. With this production and this platform, we believe we can capture 10% of that market share and then more, right? And we believe in the first 2 to 3 years, we can actually run 33 million in revenue. So how do we do this? We classify the participants in 2 categories. You have your content creators, which can be family members, producers, ad agencies, screenwriters, studios, distribution studios. And then you have your creative talent, which is your storyboard artists, your character design, your background designers, your storyboarders, animators. And we connect them to each other through studio contracting, so one-to-one, or creative freelancing, or job listing. And the way we make money off of this, of course, is we charge a subscription fee for the job listing, but for each transaction, like studio contracting or creative consulting, we charge a 15% commission on each transaction. So the platform is pretty straightforward. You can explore through our list of studios. You can find the talent based on our backend smart index. You can book talent directly through the platform, and you can actually manage the production end to end via the platform. So in phase 1, the way we're going to roll out is studio contracting. So we have a lead list of over 10,000 studios already generated in the back end. So we're going to connect people directly to studios and allow them to book via our platform. And then phase 2, we're going to upload many of the creative freelancers onto the platform so you can hire them for creative freelancing assets like backgrounds, logos, things of that nature. We'll also upload job listing for the contractors and the studios, so you can contract creative freelancers that are listed on the platform. And then also we'll be adding the enterprise solution white labeling. So for your distribution studios, like your Netflix or your Warner Brothers, they can have dedicated, isolated instances that are away from the public eye, secure, and then they get enterprise white glove service for this same issue.
Sorry.
And then in phase,
we've got about 30 seconds left.
Got it. In phase 3, we'll be rocking equity crowdfunding and crypto payments and NFT minting via the platform and some other things. As far as traction, we've had great conversion rates. We've signed up over 20,000 creatives and have 10,000 studios on the lead list. Key partnerships include Nickelodeon, Warner Brothers Animation, Cartoon Network, and HBO Max. As far as my team is concerned, I've worked with all these great gentlemen. We've all worked at BuzzFeed, Warner Brothers, Disney, and Netflix. I have some really rock star advisors as well who I've met along the way who can really advise me. And as we build this out, we'll be taking this from animation beyond. So we'll be moving into the gaming industry and film industry because the next frontier in content creation is helping people discover this talent on a global scale. If you'd like to know more about Pipeline and how we're building this amazing product, please reach out to me. We're raising about $500,000 in our pre-seed round on a safe.
That's great. Thanks a lot for that pitch, Onyi. Judges, if you'd like to go ahead with the feedback.
Yeah, Oni, I have a question. First of all, good pitch, really thorough, really paint a clear picture in terms of the dynamics and the mechanics of the space that you're in. One question I have is how are you going about ensuring like quality for the talent that's aligned with the studios? Like, is it the studios given a list and like they complete a search within the app and then they pick who they want, or are you responsibility on your end to ensure quality for the studios?
Yeah, great question, Jordan. So in the early stages, we're allowing the studios to select the filters and what they're looking for, and then the platform would essentially pull that data for them. But as we continue to grow out the platform, we're actually going to be working with the studios to build criteria that certain studios or certain creatives have to meet in order to be labeled as boutique or as different levels of proficiency. So you'll have that associate level, that mid level, and then you'll have senior level rock star. And that's something we're going to roll out in the future. So that's kind of built into the educational piece as well, because as well as just letting people know where they are, we're going to create pathways and certifications via the platform that they can pay into to actually get certified as higher. And this way studios know that they're getting someone who can actually meet the production goals of the studios.
What was the thought process? Oh, sorry, Jordan.
Oh, no, you're good. Go ahead, Noah.
What was the thought process behind going to the studios first as a distribution angle, as opposed to opening it up more as a marketplace for anyone that wants to hire someone to do animation or production?
Yeah, I didn't go to them first; they came to me. I was invited to Clubhouse pretty early because I used to live in the Bay Area, so I know a bunch of those folks. And of course, early in Clubhouse, there were a lot of subject matter experts, and they were talking about entertainment, but nobody was talking about animation. And I had spent the majority of my adulthood in animation running a boutique studio globally. So I'm speaking from that space of high knowledge, and I'm like, you guys actually need to pay attention to the space because it's going to explode. And certain people didn't know, so tell us more. So I'm speaking about it, and the Clubhouse gives me the ability to start a club. So I start the animation club, and now to date, it's the largest animation club in the world. And on that platform, every week, 2 to 3 days out the week, I'm discussing with animators all around the world. Next thing I know, Netflix comes to me, hey, can we sponsor a room? And then Nickelodeon, hey, can we sponsor a room? Then Disney, hey, can we sponsor a room? And all these studios across the world start coming to my platform, asking to be a part of the room, be a part of the discussion that I curate. So word started getting out because I'd only mentioned Pipeline on Clubhouse for people who wanted to sign up. I'm saying, hey, I'm starting this because I see this as an issue. If you like, you can sign up, links in my bio. That's the only place I talked about it. And then we saw the signups go from 5 to 50 to 100 to 20,000 in over 4 months. So
Dude, you gotta include that in your deck. That's a great story.
Well, yeah, it was on the traction, but I got kind of leave for the questions afterwards. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
I got a question. How are you competing with the likes of Fiverr? Because there are a lot of these free, well, the
Yes.
agency marketplaces. They kind of go hand in hand today, right?
Yeah.
And sourcing is a different ballgame. I mean, I've been invested in one of the platforms in the past for ad creatives, agency creatives that were just kind of fetching or looking to bid for projects in these marketplaces. But that I didn't really see that business model take off very well because there were just so many different marketplaces out there, right? And on the flip side, you've got these new platforms like Fiverr where you have a single member to like a 3-person agency that's pitching. So I guess the question that I'm really coming at is, where do you come in with your sense of responsibility to vet out or screen these candidates to know, or I think Jordan were asking, how do you curate that ecosystem for these agencies on the buy side?
Great question. Yeah, great question. It really comes down to my understanding of animation. These general marketplaces don't understand the nuance of animation when it comes to selecting talent, identifying different skill sets, different types of animation. All of those things matter, right? Especially when you have someone like, I'll give an example. I had a big time director from Warner Brothers. He did the Killing Joke Batman, right? Met him through Clubhouse, Sam Liu, great guy. He comes to me and he goes, it takes literally 60 days for me to find someone because all of these general platforms don't give me the ability to specifically say the type of animation that I'm looking for and the style. It either says 2D or 3D, but there are 20 different types of style within 2D. So how do you know which one? Right? Understanding that nuance is super important. Also understanding the nuance of production is important. So all of that's built into the production, into the platform. Even when we're segregating and understanding what the studios are that are uploaded into the platform, we're not just calling them studios. It's saying, oh, you're a boutique studio because you're able to do X, Y, and Z, and you have this many employees. So these are the types of productions that would best suit you. You're a vendor studio because you have this many employees, right? So you're best for commercials, game production, animation, things of that nature, right? So my deep understanding of this field and this space gives me a very unique advantage to build a product specific to their needs and not just a general marketplace that gives people a general look of what's out there. So if you're looking for a general project, yeah, they could be a competitor. But when we're talking about these big distribution studios, we're talking about these big vendor studios, they need someone that understands the animation production pipeline, and that's me. And I'm also an expert, relatively speaking. I'm known in the space, I should say. I'll be speaking at the Lightbox Entertainment Expo next week, talking about diversity in animation and the next frontier. So I know people in the space, and I'm known as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Onyi. That was a great pitch, and thanks for the feedback, judges. So next up, we have Kevin from Restflix.
First and foremost, my name is Kevin Hillman. I am the CEO and founder of Restflix. And Restflix is just kind of as it sounds. It is a streaming service designed to actually help people fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer. But the difference between us and other kind of streaming sites is we also act as an app with just the audio aspect of it. So a little bit about me. My background has been in startups. I spent the last 11 years. I worked for 2 startups, and I helped those go from 0 in revenue to over 100 million in revenue both times. And I've also seen both of those get acquired, and I've exited with those companies as well. So that kind of led me up to where I am today, with kind of taking the job and starting Restflix. So we kind of dive right into it. So the problem we actually are trying to solve is the CDC reports that 1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. We all kind of know the health benefits of sleep and also how detrimental it can be not to get enough sleep. So we are trying to address that issue and also solve it. So a little bit about Restflix. It is a streaming service, right? But our specialty is binaural beat therapy. known to actually scientifically proven to help people fall asleep faster using different frequencies. So we do have a lot of different content. We have the bedtime stories, the sleep meditations, but the binaural beat therapy is like one of the biggest channels that's on our platform currently that actually helps people sleep. So how it works is simple. We work just like any other streaming app. You can find us on Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, or any app store on iOS or Android. You simply download the app, start your free 7-day trial, and select your sleepscape and begin to kind of rest and fall asleep. The market size for Restflix. So in 2020, the market size was around 64 billion. By 2025, it's estimated to go around 92 billion. That's over a 6.32 annual market growth rate, which is super exciting for us to kind of be in that space at this time with such a unique product. As I mentioned, the business model, we're subscription-based. Users can actually subscribe for $7.99 a month or $59. And at the end of the subscription, it automatically renews until the users decide to cancel it. So some of the milestones, we actually just passed the 1 year of being live. So we launched last year in July. Then we integrated with Fire TV and got the streaming service up. And by August, we were featured on CNN's website. Then September came and we were voted one of the best sleep apps in the market by livestrong.com, which was pretty exciting for us. But what came next was even more amazing. We were actually featured on the Rachel Ray show in October. We got like a lot of installs, and we also got a lot of subscribers just from that. So some traction right now, we have over 1,000 paying subscribers, over 120K in revenue. And most importantly, what I like to focus on is that retention rate on the 7-day free trial. It's around 52% currently. We're still trying to inch closer to that 60%, which we like to be. We got around 57,000 installs, and all of this is kind of word of mouth with no marketing budget at all. We do see a good return as well, which is around 60% for the acquisition. Lifetime value is just over $1. And since our inception, we've been growing 20% month over month. So some of the big partnerships that we have in place, since we don't have a marketing budget, we partnered with Rakuten last month, and they're actually going to distribute Restflix to all of their 150,000 affiliates. I think the one thing about that deal, which we liked, was they had dead Hulu's and also Netflix's earlier in the process. We also partnered with Benefit Hub to distribute it to their partners on their platform as well. So here's our projections right here. So our 2021, we're looking around 10K subscribers to finish the year. By 2022, we're looking at anywhere between 150 to 250,000. And by 2023, we're going to hit that 500K subscriber mark, which is pretty exciting and awesome for us.
Sorry, so Kevin, you got about 20 seconds left.
So the team, we're all kind of founders. All right. I'm the founder of Restflix. Chad French, he handles our partnerships. He founded Peerfly, which is an affiliate network. And John Limp also is a self-founder as well. So that's, we're actually seeking $1 million in funds. That's going to actually help launch our advertising campaign, create more content, and hire more staff. And hopefully, I think I hit it right on the 4-minute mark. We can go into any questions from there. And these are just kind of beautiful shots of our product itself.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Kevin.
No problem.
Kevin, I have I guess a 2-part question. Sure. You have the 50% retention rate. That's right after the 7-day period ends.
Yes.
Is that consistent after the following month? Just because there is a significant number of customers that, forget to unsubscribe before the 7 days. And I guess tied to that is, this is a very prominent space because this sleep deprivation is for sure an issue. And how do you compete with other apps that do focus on this, but maybe from a different angle, such as meditation, which people also use to ease sleep?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So I can address the first question first. So after the free 7-day trial, once that kind of converts on the monthly subscription, we see around the customers stick around for anywhere between 3 to 5 months on average. For the annual subscription, we're just now getting data back from that since we launched last July, and we are seeing around 65% retention rate for the annual subscriptions renewing the next year as well. As far as competition and how we differentiate ourselves, so you got the comms, you have also the headspaces. We took it one step further. We could have just been but there's not much differentiation there. We wanted to kind of take it a step further, so we created a streaming service. So we combine not only the visuals, but also the audio as well, which is like one of the key elements for us. So that's our differentiator. That's how we stand out, and that's how we actually plan to take the market for sleep.
Got it. Thank you, and congrats on your 1-year anniversary of launching.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
A great presentation, Kevin. I got a couple of questions. So I've been associated with some mental health tech startups, and you're right, Calm, Headspace, there are certainly other kinds of competitors in the space.
Sure.
But what's your take on content curation and filtering? Like, what kind of content are you going after? How are you working with the content producers?
Yeah.
What does that cycle look like for you? I'm really curious about that.
No, absolutely. So we do everything 1099. We work all the content that we have now. We own the rights, lifetime rights to it. We create it in-house, or we buy it exclusively. So for us, how it looks, about 10 different writers for the bedtime stories and sleep meditations. They write content, and I send it off to the voiceover artists that we actually work with. They send it back to us, and then we kind of start to create a visual aspect around it as well. So it's pretty process that we worked on for a while to kind of tweak, but it's also key to actually have the right visuals to match the content. We're really, really picky when it comes to that, just because what we see most is like, the first 20 seconds of every video, a user actually knows if they're going to watch it or not, or if they like it or not. So we're very picky, and we want to hook people like immediately. We're doing a great job of that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Kevin, great presentation. I thought it flowed really, really well.
Thank you.
A question I have for you is, what does so it sounds like you're already in many platforms, right? Like you mentioned Apple TV, Roku,
right.
And you've gained a lot of traction just through word of mouth. So when it comes to actually turning on the acquisition engine, like what's your strategy in that regard? Like, have you come up with any type of models, especially when it comes to like customer acquisition costs?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We've done a lot of testing already. We only spend probably around $2,000 or $3,000 a month, just because we're bootstrapped. Like I put my own money into it to get it going. So we spend around $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and we do see a healthy return on that. Or how we target with lookalike campaigns on Instagram and TikTok. So we're like really excited when we do get a marketing budget, because we know we can drive subscribers pretty aggressively and pretty quickly. And as far as the acquisition goes, we also work with Rakuten as well. That partnership launches 2 weeks from now, and they're going to actually a lot of installs and a lot of conversions for us, just with their 150,000 affiliates, and also on some of their sites like eBay. So we're pretty excited about that.
Awesome. Another question I had was, can you talk about the competitors in the space? Because I can't put a name to it, but I came across one company that was really similar to what it is that you're building. So I guess, can you talk a little bit about what the landscape looks like?
Yeah. So we're obviously, I wanted to say we're kind of in the lead of our own. Like I said, there's a lot of sleep apps, but no one is doing it kind of as a streaming service first. Like I said, I think Calm and Headspace, they dominate the market. And the only way you're going to actually break into that market is if you come different. So we wanted to make sure we came different on our end. I'm not aware of any of the kind of competitors that you're mentioning, so I would actually love to know, because I well. But for the most part, we're the only ones who are currently doing the visual aspect combined with some of the sleep meditations and bedtime stories.
Awesome, cool, appreciate that.
No problem.
Kevin, what's been the biggest obstacle in fundraising thus far? It seems like you have good traction, you have good metrics.
Yeah.
It seems like you're understanding your conversion rates, or at least kind of getting to that. What's been the biggest obstacle?
So we actually just started having conversations with VCs about 2 weeks ago. So far, the reviews and everything has been kind of great on that end. So I don't have anything I can pinpoint just yet necessarily. But as time goes, I'll definitely kind of have more feedback on that.
Thanks.
Awesome. I think that about wraps up the feedback. Thanks a lot for your pitch, Kevin. And thank you for the great feedback, judges.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
No problem.
See you, Kevin.
Bye.
Awesome. So that concludes the pitches today for the Yellow Room. Big respect to everyone who pitched, and a big thank you to our panel of judges. Judges, if you don't mind now, do you mind just sharing with us what your fund strategy is and how the startups can reach out to you if they'd like to?
Sure. Are we doing this in an alphabetical order, or doesn't matter?
Let's go alphabetical. Let's go alphabetical.
All right. Okay, great. So I've got my profile up here in the hop-in, and anybody who wants to reach out to me can go to my email. It's Abhi, A-B-H-I, last name Anuket @magnivia.net. That's my email, or you can find us at Magnivia Ventures. Just Google it. We should pop up as www.magnivia.net or LinkedIn. And our fund strategy is to really look at truly category-defining startups within the late seed to Series A, B rounds, and that range. That's kind of what we focus on. We're largely geared towards investing in B2B2C or B2B models. That's what our sweet spot is, or our preferred sort of ecosystem to play in. But we're open to making exceptions. Yep.
Awesome. So I think it would be Jordan next.
Cool. Yeah. So I, like I mentioned, I'm not supporting any particular fund right now actively, but I do support many investors that are sourcing for deals. Specifically, they're all at the seed and pre-seed stage. So any company that's raising a seed round that has some type of traction, I can definitely go at bat for you, especially if I have the information in order to share that and build some excitement around what it is that you're doing. I love supporting founders, like I mentioned early on. So if you're looking to refine your pitch deck, trying to strategize in terms of how to get in front of investors and how to have that conversation, I'm definitely happy to support that. And if you're curious about accelerators, definitely happy to have that conversation too, to see if that makes sense, given where you're at and what your objectives are for the near term.
Awesome.
Candor Ventures, we're pre-seed and then seed stage technology companies. We're focused primarily in fintech and marketplaces, and then B2B SaaS. And please feel free to reach out. My email is noah@candorventures.io, and find me on LinkedIn. I'm responsive.
So at Kensington, we focus a little more on the later stage, typically not anything earlier than a Series A. However, because we also invest in venture funds, we do partner a lot with our seed stage funds. So if you are looking at expanding into the Canadian market, curious about the Canadian market in general, I'm more than happy to connect. I think LinkedIn is easiest, just Pola Chrostek. Happy to chat with anybody after today's event.
Awesome. Thank you very much, judges. So there's one more thing we ask of you. Could you just put in the chat, out of those 5 startups who pitched, I know they're all great, but you're going to have to try and choose one. If you just want to put in the chat who you thought was the most kind of investable startup out of those 5 for each of you.
And we're doing that in the session chat, is that right? Or the event chat? Session chat, I'm assuming.
Yeah, please. So the chat that's just on the right.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
It's one, right? We're not selecting like a rank vote?
Just one, yeah.
Got you. Okay.
So in the meantime, don't forget about the networking tab we have under the tabs on the left. So at 6 p.m. we're going to start with our panels segment. But until then, there's time for networking, so you'll be able to chat to everyone who is in attendance.
Did everybody just send in their responses? Because I'm not sure where we're supposed to do this.
So under if you see on the right,
Yeah.
there's event and then chat.
Okay, event chat. Okay, got it.
Oh, event chat. Got it.
Sorry, yeah.
Yes. Sorry, it's taking a couple of minutes to kind of open it up in my end.
Or you can just, I guess you could just tell me and I can write them down. Easier.
Okay.
For me, I would say Restflix.
I would say pipeline.
I was trying to figure out which one of those two I wanted to go with, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go with pipeline because I see the market pretty clearly.
Okay.
For me, it was anti-ordinary, though pipeline was a very close second.
I mean, if I had to vote for two, anti-ordinary would be my second pick for sure.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, judges. Thanks everyone for coming. As I said, at 6 p.m. we're going to start with our panel segment after a short announcement from our founder, Andrew. But in the meantime, if you want to head to the networking tab on the left, you'll be able to chat with everyone at the event. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicholas.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
you.
Nicholas. Thank you. Good meeting, everybody.
I hope to see you guys at the panels.
Yep.
Cheers.
See you all soon. Cheers.
Thanks a lot.